All right, everybody. Hey, this is Dr. Stan Harris, known as Dr. Breakthrough. And again, as we always say, my friend, we can't provide the breakthrough. We just prescribe the breakthrough. But when you follow the breakthrough prescription, God Almighty provides it. And this is our bonus day. We've been doing 5 days of our mental self-defense. And we've got a special guest, my friend, Dr. Myron Golden. As a matter of fact, my friend, this man has traveled the globe empowering people and now traveling through the internet. But you're going to enjoy. Myron has a unique ability of taking very complex things and making them very simple, very compactful. And what I love is, he wrote a book called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, and that really is his story. He went from that to doing some incredible things, millions and millions of dollars, impacting people's lives, doing it with integrity, my friend. I think, as I said the other day, impact with integrity will increase your income. And that's what Myron demonstrates and does things from a biblical perspective. So anyway, so we've known each other, oh my goodness, since we're 16. And so, but again, Myron, I love the way you present, the way you break things down, my friend. So we appreciate you. And as a martial artist, also a black belt, first of all, how did the martial arts make an impact and difference in your life? And then, of course, we'll tell them about the mental martial arts, how the impact that has.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you think about how martial arts, one thing martial arts can do is it can give you, when you start developing yourself in that discipline, it gives you a level of control, of self-control, and a level of confidence that you didn't have before. Like, you realize, it's interesting how life and people attempt to make you feel like there are things you can't do. But when you develop discipline in martial arts, what happens is you start to realize there are so many things that you can do that previously you thought you could not do. And so that level of confidence that's necessary for you to become successful in martial arts also bleeds over into every other area, I believe.
So. Wow. Awesome. Yeah. I always jokingly tell people, I was able to blessed to instruct you in martial arts and some in ministry. And then you became my business mentor. I was like, man, this dude, I mean, I never forget you saying one time, I will be as good as Tony Robbins. And I always wanted to encourage you. And I'm thinking to myself, does he know what he's saying? And today, Myron, I'd have to tell you, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather hear you. So you appreciate you being a man of, again, you've learned how to leverage the power of your mind. And so I want you to talk about that. And our whole thing, like I said, if physical martial arts did that for you, what would mental martial arts do for a person? And you're one who leverages and uses your mind in a very powerful way to bless people and obviously to bless your family as well. So share that with us, please, sir.
Absolutely. So it's really interesting. The primary concept, one of the foundational concepts that I like to share with people that will really help them in their lives. And I love the fact that you're talking about your mind, but most people make the mistake when you start talking about your mind, they think you're talking about your brain. And most people think your mind and your brain are the same, but your mind and your brain are not the same. Your mind is in your brain, but it's not just in your brain. Your mind is in your fingertips. Your mind is in your face. Your mind is in your feet. Your mind is in every cell in your body. And it's, when I say mind, I'm talking about your awareness, your consciousness, my brain doesn't have to tell me not to put my hand, like if I put my hand somewhere and it's hot, my brain doesn't have to say, take your hand off of there. Like, my hand is automatically going to know, right? So one of the things that I like to share with people is what causes people to do what they do. What causes you to do the things you do? What causes you not to do the things you don't do? Like, why do some people have a desire to do something, but then they procrastinate until they're dead and it's not done, right? Put it off. It never gets done. Why do some people procrastinate and some people get right into action? What causes some people to just decide to go and succeed in an arena of their life, and they just go and succeed in that arena of their life? And some people decide, I'm just going to go succeed in every arena of my life. I'm going to succeed in my family. I'm going to succeed in my finances. I'm going to succeed in my faith. I'm going to succeed in my fitness. I'm just going to succeed in every aspect of my life. And so some people just make that decision and then they go do that. I'm going to show you from a biblical perspective as well why and how this works. So what happens is people have a lot of different motivations, but everybody has one primary motivation. When I say motivation, I'm talking about the thing that causes you to move. I'm talking about the motivation that causes motion. Why do people do the things they do? So people do things for one reason. Human beings do things for one reason and one reason only, and that's because they feel like it. People don't do what they don't do for one reason, and that's because they don't feel like it. Here's why I think that your mental self-defense concept is so important, because so many people that you have in your lives, some of the people that care about you and love you, some people that don't care about you and don't love you, they have a desire to make you feel a certain way that is good for them, but not necessarily good for you. So how do you make yourself feel in such a way that it causes you to take all the actions that are going to make your life better, make your family's life better? Well, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to draw a picture of you, and I know you probably didn't know this was you, but this is you, okay? And this over here, this is a fact. Now, there's a difference between a fact and the truth, because facts are true, but they're not necessarily truth. And what I mean by that is something that's true can change, right? But something that's truth can't change. What do I mean? Like right now, I'm in my studio in my house. That's true, but it's not truth. Why? Because 2 hours from now, I'm going to be downtown Tampa at Eddie V's having dinner with a business associate. So what's true is not necessarily truth, because if it can change, it's not truth, right? The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That's not true. That's truth. It is what it is, right? Truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is.
There it is.
Right? So that's a fact happens, and this is you, and you observe this fact. You see it. Maybe you hear it, right? You could hear it, you could see it, but you observe this fact. And what happens is, once you observe this fact, that fact is going to create a feeling in you. It might create a feeling of joy, it might create a feeling of sadness. And you're going to think the fact is the determining factor, but the fact is not the determining factor. The fact is the contributing factor. So there are two types of factors. There are contributing factors and there are determining factors, okay? So contributing factors are the car broke down, that's a contributing factor. The doctor gave me bad news, that's a contributing factor. I got fired from my job, that's a contributing factor. I had an accident, that's a contributing factor. All of those, my spouse left me, that's a contributing factor, right? Those are contributing factors. Contributing factors are not the things that determine the outcomes of your life. The things that determine the outcome of your life are the determining factors. And determining factors, the difference, how you can tell whether a factor is contributing or determining, contributing factors are all outside of you. Determining factors are all inside of you. So contributing factors are factors like character, like telling the truth, like honesty. So here's what happens. You observe a fact and you're going to turn it into, you're going to apply a contributing factor to this fact. What happens? You're going to put a frame around that fact. That frame that you put around that fact is going to provide context, but that frame is called focus. You're going to focus on an aspect of the fact. When you focus on the fact, that focus that you have on the fact is not the fact. To you, it feels like it is. Well, I got fired from my job, that's why I'm depressed. No, you got fired from your job and you believe you're not going to be able to pay your bills, and that's why you're depressed. See, getting fired from your job didn't make you depressed. There was a time you didn't have that job and you weren't depressed. So what the meaning that you assign to it, the focus, the frame that you put around the fact is the thing that causes you to have, watch what happens now, your focus, that this focus happens in your head. And when it happens in your head, it creates this thing called belief. And this belief is going to manifest itself as a two-sided coin, right? And that two-sided coins, if it lands on heads, belief manifests itself as faith. But if the coin lands on tails, belief manifests itself as doubt. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. Most people are unaware of the fact that faith and doubt are both belief. They think, well, faith is belief, but doubt is the opposite of belief. No, faith and doubt are both belief. Faith is belief in the outcome you desire. Doubt is belief in the outcome you don't desire. When you believe more in the outcome you don't desire than you do the outcome you do desire, you have doubt. That's why I've heard you say most people believe their beliefs, most people believe their doubts and doubt their beliefs, but what you need to do is believe your beliefs and doubt your doubts. Well, all that means is, like, when you look at something, by the way, do you realize, have you ever thought about the fact that people say, well, this is just what I believe? Well, that might be what you just believe, right? But that's not just what you believe. And here's what I mean by that. You weren't born believing that thing. So it may be what you just believe, like you just believe because your parents or your grandparents or your siblings or your coworkers or your boss or your teacher, somebody installed that belief in you. But you weren't born believing anything. I believe an iPhone's better than an Android. Okay, well you don't. I just believe in iPhones. Well, you don't just believe it, but you might believe it. You don't just believe it, but you might believe it just now, right? Because somebody installed that belief in you. So what happens is you got to ask yourself the question: when I'm going to take my focus and turn it into a belief, do I want to turn that belief into faith, or do I want to turn that belief into doubt? When I am focused on an undesirable outcome. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not undesirable outcome. It's okay. I can fix it. When I'm focused on a desirable outcome, that's faith. When I'm focused on an undesirable outcome, that's that. So faith, you got to wrap your mind around this now. The focus in your head is going to create a belief. But belief, and that belief is going to manifest itself either as faith, desire, belief in a desire, you believe in the outcome you desire, or doubt, you believe in the outcome you don't desire. Faith, you believe in the promise of God. Doubt, you believe in the promise of the enemy. But they're both belief. Faith and doubt are both belief. Don't forget that. Like, don't go through life like confused about that, right? Faith and doubt are both belief. So watch what happens next. Faith and doubt are both belief, but when you get that focus in your head that creates that belief and that manifests itself as faith or doubt, it doesn't stay in your head, it migrates. Notice I didn't say migraine, I said migrates. Okay, so faith and doubt are traveling salesmen, and what they're going to do is that belief, that this focus that's in your head is going to create a feeling in your heart. So the focus is in your head. Where was I? I think that's it. The focus was in your head, but the feeling is in your heart. And when the focus in your head creates a feeling in your heart, now you feel like doing something or you feel like not doing something. Now, here's what's really interesting. Like science has proven that this feeling is a vibration. That's what it is. The feeling that you have is a vibration, right? And this feeling that you have is completely manifested as a direct result of the focus in your head. Direct result. The reason you have this feeling is because you have a belief. And you have that belief because you have a focus. You're focused on a specific outcome. Now, here's what you got to understand. I'm going to come back to this one. So I'm going to show you something really cool here, just because you deserve to know it. So what is this word? Absolutely, brother. That word is what?
Oh, my thing just covered.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
believing.
I'm the big. Oh, now okay, believing. Okay.
Believing.
Yeah, I think I went big for a while and I couldn't hardly,
Oh yeah, that's because you were talking. That's why. Okay, cool. Because that's yeah. Okay, so what? Believing. Okay.
Right. Believing.
Believing. What's that word?
Same word. Believing.
Believing. What's that word?
Believing.
So if we were to read this, we'd say believing, believing, believing. And we say it again, believing, believing, believing. See, the word believe is it's an existence word. It's so amazing. I could chase a rabbit down a really long road right now, but I'm not going to do that. What I want us to understand is this. You will be living what you're believing, even though you be lying. You will be living what you're believing, even though you be lying. What does that mean? That means anything I tell myself about a future outcome, I made it up. Do you understand that every action I take in the present is fully determined by an expectation I have about the future. When I sit on this stool, I sit on the stool for one reason. I expect it to be able to hold my weight. If I thought, well, that's a little wild, I don't know if I want to sit on that, then that would control, that would be, I would say, well, I don't think I want to sit on that. I don't think it can hold me up. But the fact that I sat down on it means, like, I don't have to tell you, I believe the stool can hold me up. You know I believe the stool can hold me up. How do you know that? You saw me sit on it. So believing anything I tell myself about a future outcome, I made up. People say, like I said earlier, right? I'm not going to be here in 2 hours. I'm going to be downtown Tampa at Eddie V's. Now, I made that whole story up. Yes. Do I intend to go downtown to Eddie V's? I do. Do I know that I'm not going to be stuck in a traffic jam for 7 hours? I don't know that. Do I know that I'm not going to be in an accident? I don't know that. What if I was so afraid that I'd be in an accident? What if I could so clearly say, oh, no, I'm going to be in an accident because accidents happen on 275 every day. And if I get on 275, some crazy Florida driver is just going to run into my car and I have this anxiety attack and now I can't get in the car. All because I told myself a story. I made up a story about an outcome in the future that I don't desire. And that story that I bought into fully inhibits my ability to take an action in the present. So this belief that I have, all right, quit tripping now. This belief that I have in my head, this focus that I have in my head creates this feeling in my heart. Now, the focus in my, if the focus in my head and that creates the belief that manifests as faith, it's going to create for me the feeling of anticipation. What is anticipation? Anticipation is the sense of certainty about an outcome. It's even more than that. It's the excitement I get about a sense of certainty that I have about an outcome in the future that I desire. When I have this outcome that I'm expecting in the future, and it's something that I desire, I run wholeheartedly toward. Like people say, Myron, I'm an author, but I've got writer's block. You don't have writer's block. You're just not expecting the book to sell. If you believed with every fiber of your being, you're going to sell 1 million copies the first 90 days, you'd be up writing all night long. Right? It's our expectation about outcomes in the future that empower us in the present or disempower us in the present. So when the belief that I have in my head is the result of a focus and it creates faith, it's going to build in my heart a feeling of anticipation. I'm going to tell you what anticipation looks like. Remember on Christmas Eve when you were a little kid and your parents had your Christmas presents hidden in the basement. You weren't supposed to go down there, but you went down there anyway. And you saw what you were getting, and you were so excited. And on Christmas Eve, you couldn't go to sleep. So you got a lot of brothers. I got a lot of brothers, right? So I remember us going upstairs. Parents said, "Time to go to bed," and it's like they were torture experts, right? They send you to bed at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Like, what is this? Who can go to sleep at 7 o'clock, especially on Christmas Eve, right? So you're up there, you're trying, what do you think you're gonna get? What do you think you're gonna get? I know I saw this, and y'all better go to sleep. Go to sleep. It didn't matter. Things didn't go to sleep all till the cows come home. The only thing we couldn't do was go to sleep. Why? Our level of excitement and anticipation based on an outcome we expected to have the next day gave us so much energy in the present that we could not fall asleep. See, the reason people are drained of energy, the reason people are depressed, the reason people are dragging around is because they expect tomorrow to be worse than today. When you expect tomorrow to be a great day because you're expecting an outcome that you desire, like you stay up late working on it and you wake up early the next day working on it. So the focus in your head creates a feeling in your heart. If the focus in your head creates faith, the feeling in your heart is going to be anticipation. Anticipation gives you present energy based on an outcome that you expect in the future. So literally, anticipation energizes you.
That's good.
Wait a minute. What if the focus in your head creates a belief that manifests itself as doubt? Well, then when that travels down to your heart, it's going to create the feeling of anxiety. Now, most people who experience anxiety, they make the mistake of believing they're experiencing fear. Because anxiety and fear feel similar, but they're not even remotely close to the same thing. Let me tell you what let me give you a definition of both. Fear is caution over a real and present danger. That's called fear. Caution over a real and present danger. I was at the golf course a couple weeks ago. I see alligators at the golf course all the time. But I was at Fox Hollow with my friend Jerome. And I snap hooked my drive over to the left, and I'm getting ready to go over there and hit this golf ball. There was an 18-foot alligator laying over there like, come on, come get it. I was like, oh, no, bro. I'm like, you can have that. Mr. Wally, you can have that ball, right? I'm like, oh, it's just an alligator. And then I would have had to like turn my back on the alligator to hit the ball. And he's 18 feet. An 18-foot alligator can spring pretty fast. Now, they don't have a lot of endurance, but they got some speed, right? I'm going to drop a ball right here, and I'm going to hit the ball from here down to there. I ain't going over there messing with that alligator. Why? Because I had a healthy fear of alligators. I was not attempting to be on his menu, right? Because an alligator, whether you believe it or not, now they're not really super aggressive like crocodiles, but an alligator is a real and present danger. But anxiety is not fear. It feels like fear. Makes your heart palpitate like fear, makes your heart palpitate. Makes your hands sweat like fear, makes your hands sweat. Makes your forehead sweat like fear, makes your forehead sweat. Right? It puts you in fight or flight mode like fear, but it's not the same as fear. See, fear is caution over a real and present danger. Anxiety is caution over a future imagined danger. So you're expecting a danger. And you're expecting a danger in the future, but you're having a physical reaction to it in the present. That's what anxiety is. And anxiety is the thief of your dreams. That's why Yeshua, he said, take no thought for tomorrow. That word, take no thought, what it means is don't have anxiety over tomorrow. He said, tomorrow can worry about itself. Anxiety is worry, same exact word. Don't worry about tomorrow. Why? Because tomorrow can worry about itself. It has enough evil of its own. Here's what he was saying. Don't waste today's energy worrying about tomorrow's problem. What would we be better off doing? We'd be better off using today's energy to avert tomorrow's problems. But if you're wasting today's energy worried about tomorrow's problems, you don't have any energy left to avert tomorrow's problems.
Right.
That's why when you worry about something, it makes it happen because it robs you of the energy to keep it from happening. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down.
Come on.
So anxiety is the thief of your dreams. And anxiety is the thing that keeps you from taking action on your dreams. Anxiety causes you to ask this question. It's the worst question. If you're thinking about making your life better, you're thinking about taking your life to another level, the worst question you can ask is, what if it doesn't work?
That's right.
What if it doesn't work? Well, I'm going to tell you what happens if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, nothing happens. Why? Because what you're doing is already not working. At least if you take a chance on yourself, you're giving it a chance to work. But if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. And now you're not even giving it a chance to work. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down?
Picking it up.
So anxiety is the thief of your dreams. Now, here's what's amazing. The focus in your head, which is the frame that you put around the fact, creates a feeling in your heart, either anticipation or anxiety. And that feeling in your heart produces a function in your hands. So the focus in your head creates the feeling in your heart, and the feeling in your heart creates the function in your hand. Now, here's what's amazing. If the feeling in your heart is anticipation, the function in your hand, are you ready for this? It's called write it down here. Right. So if the
you got us in anticipation, we're in anticipation.
I created that intentionally. Okay, so if the feeling in your heart is anticipation, it creates the function in your hand called power. Why do you need to have the ability to protect Your mental focus. Well, because that's going to determine whether you have power or not. Power to do what? Power to change your life. Power to take an action.
Mm-hmm.
Power to fix your finances. Power to fix your fitness. So when the feeling in your heart is anticipation, the function in your hand is power. When the feeling in your heart is anxiety, the function in your hand is paralysis.
Mm.
And now you can't do anything. You can't take any action. You're just paralyzed. What can you do when you're having an anxiety attack? Nothing. You can go sit down or lie down, and you can't even fall asleep. This is why Christ warned us, don't allow yourself to indulge in the activity of anxiety. It is a total waste of energy.
Mm.
I'm not saying this is cause and effect, what I'm about to say, but I'm saying it's one of those things that makes you go, hmm. You remember what Job said? He said, the thing that I feared the most has come upon me. I say, it always does. I'm not saying Job caused that. That's not what I'm saying. But doesn't it make you go, hmm? How many times in your life have you worried about something and then it happened? Well, have you ever asked yourself, did this happen because I was so worried about it, I didn't take any action to make it not happen? All I'm saying is make sure all of the frames you build around the facts that you observe with your eyes and with your ears and in your experience cause you to have a focus that builds a belief called faith and never build a belief called doubt. Because if you only build faith in your head, then you will only develop anticipation in your heart. And when you only develop anticipation in your heart, then you will only have power in your hands. And I am telling you, this is not something Myron Golden made up. I ain't smart enough to make stuff up like this. This is God gave. This is in the Bible. Say, where's that in the Bible? It's in Romans chapter 6, verse 17. Here's what it says. And ye have obeyed, that's the function in your hand, from the heart, that's the feeling in your heart, that form of doctrine, that's the focus in your head that was delivered you.
Mm.
And so what you've got to learn how to do is you've got to learn how to shift in real time. You must learn to shift your focus. Stop asking yourself, what if it doesn't work? May I give you a more empowering question that you can ask yourself that will build anticipation? Here's the question you should ask yourself. How awesome is it going to be when this works? Do you realize if you're in a competitive arena, whether it be a martial arts arena, whether it be a business arena, whether it be any, if you're auditioning for a part as an actor, if you're interviewing for a job as an employee, do you understand that if you will empower yourself with anticipation and you'll ask yourself, how awesome is it going to be when this works? Or you ask yourself, what can I do to ensure that this works? When you ask yourself, how can I bring value to this person? How can I bring value to this organization? When you learn to ask yourself better questions, you will automatically receive for yourself better answers. So here's what happens. Unfortunately, remember we said believing. Unfortunately, most people are better at expecting outcomes they don't desire than they are at expecting outcomes they do desire. You ever notice that? People are great at expecting the worst. Why? I believe the reason people are better at expecting the worst is because they know what bad experiences feel like. They know what they look like because they've had so many of them. And I shouldn't even call them bad experiences, because who am I to say that it's bad just because it feels bad? Everything that feels bad ain't bad, and everything that feels good ain't good. So people have difficult, undesirable experiences, and they know exactly what they look like, exactly what they feel like, and so they resist those. But what they do while they're resisting them is they take their past experience, they project it on the screen of their future, they recreate the past and think they're living in the present. What if you just created a brand new expectation for yourself and started asking yourself, what's it going to feel like when I have developed my mind to the place where I only expect the best? Now, I'm going to tell you something. It took me a long time, but I have done this and I'm still working on it, but like I do it at a very high level. I only allow myself to give energy to outcomes I desire. I literally live my life and act as if the only thing that's impossible for me is that something would be impossible for me. Well, why would that be impossible for me? I made the image of God. Or as my dad would say, oh, it's going to work because it don't have a brain and we have a brain.
That's
and
good.
See, when you begin to empower yourself like that, what happens is you will start taking different actions because you'll have power in your hand. You'll have anticipation in your heart. And you'll have faith in your head that will allow you to take action. I believe that when you learn anything that will help you take your life to the next level, your life is going to be better off. The people you serve, their lives are going to be better off. One of the things, and if I may be so bold, I hope Dr. Breakthrough doesn't take this the wrong way. One of the things that I've been recommending to Dr. Breakthrough for a long time is that he raises prices. And one of the things that's going to happen for you listening to me right now. Okay, so can I give you a challenge, Dr. Breakthrough?
You can.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you. This program that you're offering right now, I'm going to challenge you January 1st, 2021, double the price.
It's done.
Okay. I'm challenging you right now, January 2001, double the price.
I accept the challenge.
Accept the challenge. I'm going to challenge you that I know the cart closes down tomorrow night on this offer. I'm going to challenge you that if you make the offer again this year, after tomorrow night, double the price. So for those people who desire to take advantage of it, and by the way, I'm not I don't know everything. Here's what I know. When Dr. Breakthrough realizes how good the stuff he teaches is, and he starts charging what it's really worth, oh, you're in trouble then, boy. You're not in trouble in a bad way. You're in trouble in a good way. Then you'll have to step up to the plate, become the person that you deserve to be in order to work with somebody of his caliber. I'm telling you right now, for those of you who are serious, not curious about changing your life, take advantage of the offer that Dr. Breakthrough has set up for you, that he's put on the page, that he's going to show you right after I'm done talking. When you do, you'll be able to take your life to the next level. I appreciate each and every one of you, the opportunity to spend the time with you this evening. I wish I could have been here live, but I've got an appointment. I'm going to meet with one of my students, who, by the way, this student, here's what's really interesting, Dr. Breakthrough. One of the reasons why I'm challenging you to raise your prices is because it will help your students experience more success. Why? It's a biblical principle. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So this guy that I'm meeting with tonight, he's a student of mine, right? He bought my $55,000 training. Okay. I mean, when you put $55,000 in something, you about to put your feet to the fire, right?
Correct.
He has asked me, I'm not exaggerating, in a year and a half, he has asked me more coaching questions than every other client I had in that same time period, right? But he utilized the first time he used what I taught him. First time he used it during COVID-19 shutdown back in June from his dining room, he did $1 million, $1,034,000 in sales in one day. If I would have only charged him a little bit of money, he may not have taken it as seriously. But because I charged him so much, he's like, I paid this dude this much money. I better go ahead and do what he said. So now watch what happens. He just bought a $2 million yacht, paid cash for it, $2 million yacht. And we are meeting together to talk about some masterminds we're going to do on his $2 million yacht. That's what those are the kinds of things that you deserve to learn, but you got to start protecting yourself from all the garbage that's going on around you, all the garbage that's going on in the news, all the garbage that's going on social media. You got to protect your mind and make it a place where you don't allow people to come in and dump garbage all over it. So take advantage of Dr. Breakthrough's mental self-defense program, and you will be glad you did. Dr. Breakthrough, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I appreciate the opportunity to share with your folks. And I'll look forward to connecting with y'all real soon. I got a couple more videos I got to shoot before I head downtown. And then I think my daughter and my granddaughter just got here, so I want to go see them too.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. Thank you very much. And folks, you just go to, everything will be right there on the website, theinternetmentor.com. www.theinternetmentor.com. And again, thank you very much, Myron. So powerful, so practical. And folks, I'm telling you, you deserve to get your black belt in mental martial arts. And as Myron, now I've even mentioned, Myron, I'm glad you did say what you said. Actually, the price is more than doubling in the beginning of the year. We already told him about that. So, but thank you for incredible value that you bought. And folks, again, make sure you go over to theinternetmentor.com. You got till Monday night, midnight Central Standard Time to take advantage of the offer. And so thank you again. So one just closing word, Myron, what closing word would you give someone who's thinking, I think I want to do it. I'm, maybe having some second doubts. I'm not.
Well, what I would say is, it's not a question of whether or not the program is worth it. You're not even evaluating the program. One of the reasons people resist is because they don't believe they're worth it. But I submit to you that you are worth an investment that's greater than the amount of money you spent for your car, that's greater than the amount of money you spent for your house, that's greater than the amount of money that you invested in your college education. You are the greatest investment you will ever make. And the breakthroughs that I've had in my life are a direct result of the money that I've invested into learning how to become a higher level entrepreneur. Take advantage of it. All right, brother. I'm out.
Thank you.
Deuces.
All right.